What the actual what? Something really big, something extremely consequential, something the unexpected happened. Really, at first I thought this is definitely a plot hole, but when I thought about it for a few seconds, wow. So that's where this is going. Hi fellow Disney Plus watchers, this is Thoughts After Disney Plus Watch, where we review everything new Disney Plus coming out, and I'm glad you're watching. This is the channel that's specifically about movies, shows, and all that's Disney Plus original stuff. It's not a secret that I wasn't really a fan of the previous episode, Devil's Deal. Thought there were a lot of awkward moments, plot was a bit boring to me, once again this General Rampart and Crosshair taking control of a planet. I mean, again, where are the other Empire factions? What are they doing? Hera with the accent took some getting used to, and you get the point. It wasn't my thing overall. Now this episode is the direct sequel to that one. As the title was already revealed a few weeks ago. Rescue on Ryloth, this one's called, and it's high up my favorite list. So just a fair warning here before we go on, I'm sorry, I do want to discuss spoilers to really do this episode justice. So maybe press that watch later button if you haven't seen it yet. Still here? Let's go. Of course, I will give my thoughts on that super impactful moment that might be the most consequential moment for the Star Wars universe in general in this show so far. Yeah, I think it is. It actually is. But let's start at the beginning, because this episode already starts to build the crescendo at the start. So lots of people were already talking about Hauser last week. Of course, I make sure I'm not influenced by other people when collecting my thoughts for these reviews, so I think I didn't even mention him last week. But lots of folks already noticed strange behavior coming from this clone, and it became a big topic of discussion. And yes, he is a clone, but starts questioning orders from Rampart. So Rampart starts out with saying to him, "I want all Syndulla sympathizers arrested." And Hauser actually questions that. He says, "Sir, the people are not insurgents. What do you mean arrest them all? Arresting peaceful citizens?" And all these conversations between Hauser and Rampart are just a perfect example of a leader promising order and peace, but actually aiming for full control and terrorizing the people because of it. And it's such a relevant theme to keep exploring in Star Wars, because remember, always be cautious when a leader gains more control while promising safety, order, and protection. You know that's bad news. Also love how relevant the attack on Orn Free Taa is now, and how it's used in the show, because it's being used as a false flag situation, showing a reason to the people to oppress them, trying to justify it all and arrest everyone who stands in your way, labeling everyone terrorists, all that, just because you had a guy, Crosshair in this case, to take the shot. Now you have your reason to consider calling your opponents terrorists. Love this aspect of Star Wars. It's once again political commentary done right. So the basic premise of this episode is Omega receives a transmission from Hera calling for help to free her parents, and the Badge is hesitant, especially Hunter. He explains to Omega, "Look kid, it's a big galaxy, there's always someone in need, we like to do what's right, but we're still looking out for ourselves." And this is totally reasonable. Remember, they're still on the run, they just paid off Sid's debt, so they haven't much to come by. It's a harsh message, but I totally understand Hunter in that respect. But one thing that caught me a bit by surprise is how touching this moment was. The way Omega still inspired Hunter to go. You know, Hunter says we can't put ourselves on the line every time someone's in trouble, which is still perfectly reasonable, but Omega reacting with, "Why not? Isn't that what soldiers do?" That hit me, because it made me realize, and it took the 12th episode to make me fully aware of it, but how much Omega is actually an inspiration, and in a way a guide for the Badge. It's so beautiful. You know, I've heard a lot of people say that being a parent is so valuable because you learn just as much from your kid as your kid does from you. Don't take my word for it though, I'm only 21 years old, but it reminded me of that. Okay, the Badge lands on Ryloth after we see this beautiful shot that just transported me right back into a Star Wars live action movie, and there they meet up with Hera and Chopper, you know, where they discuss the plan, convince Hunter to do this incredibly dangerous job, and the episode can really start to pick up from there. I loved everything that came after that. I ate it up. The mission itself was tense, everyone played their part and had a very dangerous task. Things go different than discussed in the briefing, of course that always happens, and it's glorious. The scenes where Omega and Hera, and of course the Badge, are flying around, disarming the cannons, making a scene so that all the attention was right there on the refinery. It looked all great. It was exciting. I felt like watching Star Wars, and not every episode of this show is this Star Wars-y, I think. I don't even really know what to add here. This whole middle section of the episode is just pure fun, but the real meat is going on at the Empire's perspective. Now, I'm getting to the big moment, of course, but first, the scene where Crosshair is about to get into the ship and then realizes, "Oh wait, what am I doing? This is exactly what they want." Because he must have realized right there, what is there to gain to just attack the refinery and blow some stuff up? It didn't seem right to him, so he stays and waits for the main entrance, the only entrance, according to him, to open. Now, I'm really happy that we got to see a moment where Crosshair outsmarts the rest and truly proves himself as being an advanced clone. Last week we didn't get to see much of his personality, he was only blindly following orders, but this tense moment where he realizes it's all a diversion was great. And now we get to the big moment where the doors open, Hauser steps outside and speaks to his comrades. What are you doing? Look around you. We came here to free everyone here from separatist control, and you're only making the same mistakes, yada yada yada. And then they all think for a second and then lay down their weapons and join the rebellion. Is everyone even aware of... Class, raise your hands. What is this whole show about? Yes, Jimmy, you're right. It's about a group of defective clones, very rare clones who are not under the program of being completely mind-controlled by the chip. And who can tell me, class, what it means if a whole battalion of clone troopers can suddenly make their own decisions and rejecting orders? Yes, Tom. Yeah, exactly. It means that there's a huge shift within this show. Everything we knew about the clone trooper program is hereby questioned. But there's one other possibility, and this one gets me hyped. Really hyped. Okay. What if, and hear me out, the clone trooper program is shut down somewhere and it happened around the time of this episode? Like someone infiltrated the Camino base or something like that? Turns everything off, you know, and a big clone rebellion will happen at the end of the season? You know, something like that. How awesome would that be? I really enjoyed this episode. It had a great middle section with gorgeous aerial combat and a tense mission. It had great political dilemmas sprinkled throughout. Crosshair was great and actually made his own call for once. There's an awesome scene where the seed is planted for a clone rebellion. At least that is what I believe. I like the episode even more while talking about it. I'm thinking about wrapping this up. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoy the idea of discussing Disney Plus content with us, that red button looks familiar, right? And if you're interested in thoughts on previous episodes, it's all in the description, or you can browse the channel page. Did you like this video? Then be sure to consider giving that a click. Thanks. I'll be back next week with a new episode and of course the Mysterious Benedict Society. For now, have a wonderful day and see ya.